I'd like to call the meeting of January 24th to order. Do we have any special intentions? Mr. Acting Mayor?
Thank you, sir. My assistant is feeling a little bit illish, and I hope her a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
And I would like to say something on behalf of Mayor Glazer, if I may.
Yes, please.
Thank you. On behalf of Mayor Glazer and his entire staff, we would like to personally thank all those individuals, all those public servants that were activated to work the event. Okay, for instance, our Public Works Department, with limited resources and personnel, they managed to keep all the streets clear. That was quite a job. Our Sewer Department, they maintained the sewer system active throughout the entire event. General Services, okay, we have a number of facilities throughout the city, and General Services was responsible to making sure that the facilities didn't suffer any damages. This is one of them. Okay, that's one of the reasons why we are able to have a council meeting today. So they did an outstanding job. Our Public Works Department, in conjunction with, the police department, they work well together in clearing just about every major street throughout the city. So that was quite a task. And we also work with the fire department on a number of other things. So we would like to extend, thanks to all of those employees, and we also like to thank all the residents of the city of Kenner for listening to comments, news media, relating to staying off the roadways. With that, I'd like to pass this on to Chief Conley for any further comments that he may have.
If we can, we'd like to hold those comments until we finish the prayer, if you'll be so kind, okay? Next, we have, if you will, Councilwoman McKinney, if you'll lead us in the prayer.
Yes.
Please stand.
Thank you, Council President. Please bow our heads. Lord God, thank you for this day and the opportunity to come together to make impactful decisions for our community and work together for the best of Kenner. Thank you for the Winter Wonderland this week and the hard work and dedication of our first responders, police and fire, as well as the Public Works and General Services workers who braved the cold to help clear the streets so we could safely get around. On this warmer but still chilly day, please give us direction, fortitude, and grace to deal with anything that may lay ahead. Hopefully not another 8 inches of snow in the near future. May we seek your guidance and work steadfastly in your name. Amen.
Amen. And Police Chief Conley, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Sure. If you put your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Next, we have correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads.
Mr. Acting Mayor, do you have any words? That was previously stated already? Okay. That's fine.
I believe Chief
Employees that were activated, they did a hell of a job. Okay, with that, I'd like to pass this on to, Chief Conley. I'm sure he's going to say something about his personnel as well as all the city personnel.
Chief Conley?
Yeah, if I could just give you a little updated report.
Sure.
First off, I want to commend the administration, the mayor, and his staff. I know that all agencies, all different departments are working. We work very closely starting Monday morning with the Public Works Department. And I got to tell you, that crew was out there embedded with us in the streets from the beginning of the event, and they're still out there. I kind of made a comment yesterday to the media that I consider them first responders as well. The work that they did the night of the freeze after the snow, breaking up ice patches and putting sand down in the trouble spots that they've identified with our traffic division, no doubt saved property and probably lives. So, the cooperation between the police department and the EOC, we were at the EOC, we had a presence at the EOC as well, proved, since this is an unprecedented event for us, ICE is very rare, but snow and ice and the combination, I do want to commend the Public Works Department, as well as the men and women of the Kenner Police Department, the Fire Department, and EMS. Everybody had their best game and best foot forward. We did push out a lot of information to the media, either directly to the media or through social media in conjunction with the city. We kind of worked together in that capacity. When we look at our online and our social platform stats, we had reached over 307,000 people. Some of our videos and some of our posts had over 1 million views or people reached when you go through, the algorithms and things that we have access to through our providers. So it was proven when the fact that we literally we had no traffic during the event, as the messaging was, you need to stay off the roads and highways so emergency vehicles can travel them and Public Works can do their thing, clearing roadways and identifying problem areas to barricade. So the city of Kenner prevailed, working together, pushing information out, but I do want to commend the citizens of Kenner and the residents of Kenner for heeding our requests and staying off the roads. We literally, our calls for service throughout the 3-day event, we only had 393 calls for service, where we usually have 400 or 500 a day, more than that. We've only had 5 crashes over those 3 days, where we usually have 500 a month. So that's a reflection of the job that this administration and this department and this council did, getting the word out, getting the messaging out to the people that, we can't help you if you get in a situation out there, because we're crippled by the same things they are with traffic and mobility and ice. So they heeded our warnings. They helped us by staying off the roads and letting us do our job collectively, Public Works and the Police Department. Fire Department responded to some issues, and EMS at one point was only responding to life-threatening calls, but that was only for about a 6 to 12-hour period. But the Fire Department and Police Department responded to all medical roles just to assess it and be there with those families. So, our biggest hindrance right now, and as a police department, is the I-10. It is still closed. And it is a strain on our manpower and our budget, to be honest with you. So we've come up with a plan to kind of minimize that. But as far as the cost of this storm, what we did was adjusted schedules, so we had a maximum manpower at a minimum impact to the budget. So we are mindful of that and conscious of that, and we've been discussing that with the mayor and the administration. But, this is, in conclusion, this is a huge success. Everybody working together, getting the information out, getting the resources out. We're told the interstate might be open later this afternoon. I have no faith in that at all. I can't see that happening. But, you hope for the best and expect the worst, and that's pretty much what emergency management is. So that concludes our report. Thank you.
Excellent job, Chief. Well done and well said. Thank you so very much for all your efforts, and as well as our fire chief, our administration, and essential personnel here in Kenner. Excellent job on all y'all's parts. We appreciate all y'all and everything y'all have done to get us through safely. It's been very quiet, as they say, as to emergency issues, and it's been all positive. So thank y'all very much for what y'all have done.
I'd like
Madam?
to add.
Yes.
Also, you got to realize the state had over 500,000 pounds of rock salt. They had equipment to keep our bridges open, to keep the interstate open, and that failed. Kenner, with its limited resources, was able to keep the streets open for our first responders and for everyone else. So even though we had some issues, let everybody know we did a darn good job with the limited resources that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Conlon?
Yeah, just to double down on what the mayor is saying, or the mayor pro tem, or whatever we call him. Out here on 3rd Street yesterday, I was with Ms. Vallow and the EOC, and for the first time we saw an east-going snowplow meet a west-going snowplow. And I have to tell you that the resources that our Public Works Department used, which basically a front-end loader scraping the ground, had to come in because the snowplows weren't working. Snowplows plow snow, not ice. So, kudos again to Ms. Vallow and the EOC and the Public Works Department, but we had to go clean up what the snowplows could not handle. So I know there's a lot of chatter, especially on social media, about why we can't get snowplows. They don't work. They have to be here for the snow before it turns to ice. Would it have worked then? Maybe, but, this storm was, unprecedented for us. But the front end loader cleared the ice, and plus manual labor. We had people out there with shovels and hammers breaking up the ice as well. So, the front end loaders came in and did, an awesome job as well.
Thank you, Chief, for that explanation. Anybody else? No. Madam Clerk?
Next, do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of the minutes, the regular council meeting of January 2025. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. Item 2A is a resolution granting an alcoholic beverage permit to Kenner Italian Heritage Incorporated on March 28th, 29th, and 30th, 2025, at the Rivertown parking lot, 400 Williams Boulevard, being property owned by the city of Kenner in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 2B is a resolution granting an alcoholic beverage permit to Friends of Rivertown for Kenner's Black History Month on February 22nd, 2025, at the Heritage Park, 2015 4th Street, being property owned by the city of Kenner in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 2C is a resolution granting an alcoholic beverage permit to Friends of Rivertown for Isis Kenner Gras on March 1st, 2025, at Kenner City Park, 3800 Loyola Drive, being property owned by the city of Kenner in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 2D is a resolution granting an alcoholic beverage permit to Friends of Rivertown for Lundy Gras on March 3rd, 2025, at the Rivertown parking lot, 400 Williams Boulevard, being property owned by the city of Kenner and Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2437-25, Kenner Italian Heritage Incorporated, to hold a public gathering on March 28th, 29th, and 30th, 2025, for the purpose of festival at the Rivertown parking lot at 400 Williams Boulevard in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3B is application number 2438-25, Driftwood Park Civic Association, to hold a public gathering on February 15, 2025, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the purpose of a 55th Annual Crew of Driftwood Parade in the Driftwood Subdivision in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3C is application number 2439-25, Driftwood Park Civic Association, to hold a public gathering on February 15, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the purpose of a block party at 50 through 57 Madrid Avenue in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3D is application number 2440-25, Visit Kenner, to hold a public gathering on March 1st, 2025, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the purpose of a Kenner Gras at Kenner City Park in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3E is application number 2442-25, City of Kenner, to hold a public gathering on February 22nd, 2025, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the purpose of a Kenner Black Heritage Festival at Heritage Park, 2015 4th Street in Kenner, Louisiana. And that will conclude the consent agenda. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Item under the public appearance agenda, I have item 8, public hearings and final passage. Item 8A is a public hearing regarding resolution number B17425, a resolution calling a public hearing to determine whether the structures located at 1235 Roosevelt Boulevard, Kenner, Louisiana, shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, or demolition or removal. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat, to open the public hearing. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. We're now in a public hearing, and the Code Enforcement Department has a presentation.
Okay. Ms. Topple?
Good morning, Councilman. I also want to, if I could briefly appreciate everything the police, fire, all the public civil employees, what they've done during that storm, because it was really impressive to me. Somebody coming from northern Indiana, this is a normal snowfall for us, and I was just completely flabbergasted at how well that Kenner responded to that much snow on the ground. It was impressive. So we're here today seeking demolition of property, a home located at 1235 Roosevelt Boulevard. And we do have the curator here that the city appointed. The property is owned by Mrs. Linda Meyer. On July 19th of 24, it was determined that 1235 Roosevelt Boulevard was unsafe and dangerous under the building codes for the city of Kenner, as well as under Section 5-57 of the Code of Ordinances. We sent a certified mail on July 29, 2024, to the property owner advising her of the property violations. They failed to comply with any notices and/or orders to repair the structure. Therefore, Mayor Glazer appointed LeBlanc, Fantasi, and Villio LLC as the curators for the owners in connection with this matter. The City of Kenner hired an engineer who provided the following reasons of inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, and/or abandonment for this structure. A majority of the windows have been boarded. The rear yard is overgrown with vegetation along the area close to the structure and around its perimeter. Siding is missing along portions of the rear of the structure. Sections of the exterior wooden stud walls have signs of rot. Sections of soffit and fascia are missing around the perimeter of the structure. Wood rot was observed at the ends of the roof joists. The cover for the carport appears to have been added and constructed after the original home was constructed, and there's severe wood rot throughout the framing of the carport cover, which I believe is collapsed at this point. The western column supporting the carport has been totally dislodged from its originally installed location. The eastern column has been totally dislodged and has caused the northern section of the cover to be supported and structurally unstable. Based on the report of the engineer, the structure is a serious public hazard and recommend the city take the steps necessary to demolish the structure and abate the violations. The water service has not been active since August 29th of 2022. Per Entergy, the meter was turned off on October 17th, 24, and the sewer was capped on January 14th, 2025. We did request an estimate. However, due to the inclement weather, the contractor was unable to get out there this week. We're basing it on our, keep it pulled up. We're basing it on our previous demolition of 400 Farrar, which that average was $29,430. So it'll be somewhere in around that. And that is all we have at this point.
The owners were not, you were not able to contact the owners?
No, that's why we had to hire a curator to act on their behalf.
Okay, we don't know if there's nobody living in this
No,
facility?
No.
Okay. Do we know the last time somebody was?
no, we do not. It's been like this, according to the inspector, it's been this way since after Ida.
And we do know that the water has been turned off and the electric's been turned off for quite some time.
Correct,
according
that's
to what you
correct. We
just
did
said.
confirm that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions before?
Yes.
Is there's
Mr.
no
Brennan.
surviving family
Councilman
member?
Brennan.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Councilman Brennan.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Chief Conley if he's in favor of this, because I noticed there was a Conley Police Chief sign in the yard, and just didn't know if,
So I think you're voting on demolishing the house, not the sign.
thank you, Chief, for that clarification. Thank you, Ms. Topple, for the presentation. Sorry, I had to.
Councilman Lahat.
Yeah. Ms. Topple, thanks for the presentation. We've put this in the newspaper advising public notice several times.
That's correct, and the curator may have more information as far as their reach out to the owners of the property as well.
There's a curator here. Just want to confirm that we've tried to reach out to anybody in the estate that might have any possession
morning,
on this.
Council.
Hey, good morning.
I was appointed curator on September 27, 2024. I researched the property using JeffNet, Jefferson Parish Assessor's Office, White Pages, and Google. I found an obituary for the listed owner, Linda Meyer. In that obituary, it stated that she had one son, namely James Stewart. I found an address on White Pages that was connected to Mr. Stewart. I sent him a certified letter on October 1st, 2024. The green slip came back signed by Mr. Stewart on October 5th. Additionally, when this was set for hearing today, I sent another letter saying this is set for hearing. That certified green slip was signed on January 3rd, 2025 by Mr. Stewart. Additionally, I placed an ad in the Times-Picayune, which ran on October 4th, 5th, and 6th of 2024. Nobody has contacted me regarding this property, and obviously my letters got to Mr. Stewart. They were signed by him. If you have any other questions about my efforts, I'll be happy to answer.
Was there, you don't know if there's a succession that was done?
I searched JeffNet, no succession was found.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? No? Thank you all. Thank you. Mr. Acting Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I totally concur with Ms. Topple, 100%. The house is in really, really bad shape, and we have to do this not only for the safety of the citizens, but also for the neighbors. We have to clean up the neighborhood, and I will say this is just one of several in District 2 that has to be taken care of. So we'll be back again with some more addresses.
And Mr. Acting Mayor, this residence is in your district, or District 2?
Yes, it is in District 2.
Thank you.
Tom, I
Yes.
just want to ask, why almost $30,000 for the demolition? 29, right at 30,000.
Well, because so when a demolition contractor goes in there, even though they don't have to do a Phase 1 or Phase 2 environmental assessment, they're responsible for removal of all the asbestos and disposing of all the asbestos. This being an older home, I guarantee you'll have asbestos. In addition, all the vehicles that they'll have to bring on site, and the gas and the cost of running those vehicles. This is an average cost nationwide, really. Yeah, oh yeah, and it does require the removal of the foundation. It does. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else from the audience wishing to make comment? No one? Okay. Madam Clerk?
I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat, to close your public hearing. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Please be advised you're voting to demolish this property within the time allowed by law. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 9 is of ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and/or alienation of immovable property. We have none. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. We have none. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 13,700. An ordinance ratifying an emergency repair of an HVAC air handling unit in the amount of $8,952 from Beacon Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Incorporated for the Kenner Police Department. I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 13,721, an ordinance approving the guaranteed maximum price amendment to the agreement with Gibbs Construction, LLC, regarding construction of Fire Station 38. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request to amend this item. If I could entertain the amendment at this time, we would be adding the guaranteed maximum price of $5,384,123. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment?
Chief, if you will, explanation, please. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Fire chief, yes.
Oh,
Clarification, thank you.
That's me. Just in case you didn't know, that's me. Jose wanted to address that issue.
Okay.
I'll get
Mr.
started.
Gonzalez?
I'll get started with some of the technical components of the fire station and try to keep it as simple as possible. With the adoption of this ordinance, the city is going to be able to construct a brand-new fire station number 38, which is located on Duke Street off of Loyola Drive. The project is going to be built based on a CMAR concept. A CMAR concept, CMAR stands for Construction Management at Risk. Under that concept, the city shows a design team early on and shows a contractor early on. The design team, in conjunction with the contractor, work together for quite a number of months to develop a complete set of plans and specifications for the station, of course, in conjunction with the fire personnel, because it's going to be a fire station, of course. That work has been completed. The plans and specs are ready, for construction purposes. Under this concept, the contractor also has to establish a fixed price, construction management at risk fixed price, and that fixed price is $3 million, just like it was read a few minutes ago. $5,384,123. Unless there are any unforeseen conditions out there, that price is fixed. Okay, Gibbs is going to be the construction contractor that was selected early on with the design team. Construction is expected, with the adoption of this ordinance, construction is expected to start, I think it's March 11th. It's probably going to last 16 months, weather permitting. The station is one-story building, 3 bays, and 3 bays, one-story building, started construction February 11th, and it will last 16 months. Having said that, I'll turn it over to the fire chief for any additional information that he may want to cover.
Mr. Gonzalez, as far as the amendment's concerned, if you can just make comment on the amendment or changing.
The amendment, at the time that this ordinance was put in place, we did not have a maximum price for the work, okay? We were still dealing with a power test and some allowances. The dollar amount that was indicated as a fixed price of $5,384,123 includes roughly $304,000 in allowances. Those allowances may or may not be used. Only time will tell as construction starts. One of those allowances was power lines. Well, we could not include an allowance, an exact allowance for power lines until the power test was completed. The power test was completed last week. The lengths of powers have been established, so we still have an allowance in case we run into problems, but that's not the only allowance. We have a number of allowances there. So as far as funding source, I believe the city was able to receive roughly $3.5 million from the state. This particular station was once located in the medium area of Loyola between Veterans and I-10. It had to be removed to be able to construct some ground level improvements for airport ingress and egress. As a result of that, the station had to be moved. The state compensated the city for removal and the purchase of land, which the land that was purchased was on Duke Street.
Thank you for that thorough explanation. Councilman Brannigan?
How much of the $3.5 million do we have left?
We have about, it's almost 800,000 that we have left. And then we bonded the fire millage. So we have that funding too. And then I'm expecting the general fund to give probably another 300,000 to 500,000, depending on, the total cost.
And Jose, you said that there was no amount in stone today. I mean, this.
That's correct. That final amount, that when this ordinance was routed, we did not have a fixed amount. Under the C-Mark concept, there is a need for a guaranteed price. So unless we have a real unforeseen condition out there, this price is fixed no matter what. That $5 million, $384,123 is fixed under this concept. There are other concepts. You can, one of the regular concepts is you bid and you award to a low bidder. Another one is a design-build concept. Up front, teams form, contractors and design consultants, and they bid. This is different. This is design consultants are selected, a prime with sub-consultants, and a contractor is selected up front. They both work together to put a good product out there where they can establish a guaranteed fixed price. And that guaranteed fixed price has roughly $300,000 in allowances, which we may use or not use.
So if we don't use them, then it's gonna drop.
Correct. It will drop from 5.384 to, 5.1 or
But
something.
if something overruns, and it's not something that's out of order, then this is.
The contractor's got to absorb that cost.
Okay.
It's got to be a real unforeseen conditions. The reason being that design consultants and the contractors have been embedded, working together from day one to develop a good quality product. So by working together, any potential problems that may have occurred as far as design consulting, not being aware of certain things that needed to be done, all of that has been eliminated.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the explanation.
Fire Chief Morris?
I think Jose pretty much covered everything that involves with the contracts. As he said, that $5,384,123 is the guaranteed maximum price that we'll pay for it. We have the $300,000 roughly allowances built into that price for different things that occur, like I think some of it's like landscaping, flag poles and stuff like that, that's built into that price. So if we don't spend that, part of it was the piling. And once we got the pile test finished, we got a firm price on that with the pilings. So the maximum we'll spend building this station, unless something major or unforeseen comes about, is the $5,384,000-ish. This station is 9,600 some square feet total, 3 base station, which would be a fairly large station, allows us to grow and expand if we.
Thank you. Any questions of the chief? No. Thank you, Chief. Councilman, I'm sorry. Mr. Acting Mayor Swartz?
Acting Captain Mayor.
Yeah.
Jose, after construction has been completed and we accept the property, do we have any kind of guarantee on if things break, foundation, anything like that? After that? Yeah.
Typically with every construction contract, there's a warranty period. Okay, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, correct, warranty.
Yes, there will be a warranty period. And this station also is going to have a generator, of course, a 200 kW generator. And another thing that is good about this particular station, and has been designed to withstand roughly 150, 155 mile an hour winds, exceeds what our code requires for a building.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody wishing to make comment from the audience? No? Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. On your amendment, all council members, please vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Ed, back to your original motion as amended. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 13,722. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Casco Industries for 135 firefighting helmets in accordance with electronic bid 24-2150 and an amount not to exceed $31,977 for the Kenner Fire Department. Have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 13,723, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Casco Industries for the purchase of 270 Majestic PAC-2 P84 hoods in accordance with electronic bid 24-2151 and an amount not to exceed $10,732.50 for the Kenner Fire Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 13,724, an ordinance ratifying the emergency repair of fire engine 376 and the amount of $5,993.58 from Cummins Sales and Service for the Kenner Fire Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Mr. Chairman, we've also received an amendment for this item, if I could read it into the record.
Please.
Adjusting the amount from $5,993.58 to $24,182.78. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan on the amendment. Will there be any discussion on the amendment?
Councilman Brannigan?
Yeah, I'd like to know why it went from 6,000 to 24.
The original, when the apparatus originally failed, when it broke, we shipped it to the contractor, Siddons Martin, had it towed over there, and they looked at it and originally thought it was the fuel injectors. Well, as they got into the work of it, they realized it was a lot more internal engine damage done to that was wrong with the apparatus, so they sent it to Cummins, which is the engine manufacturer right here in Kenner, St. Rose, right on that line. Anyway, they found that we have major internal engine problems with it that they need to repair, in addition to replacing all the fuel injectors. It's a piston and valve, cylinder that they need to replace in the motor. This is one of our 2011 pieces of equipment, one that we have to keep running. As I said, with the 2 new apparatus coming on board the end of this year, beginning of next year, that'll put us NFPA compliant with all our frontline apparatus. This would be one of them, which is reaching the end of its first due response life. So it's in that rotation to be replaced sometime after next year.
Okay. So they're just rebuilding the engine. We're not putting a new engine.
No, they're just doing, like I said,
Just to
major
get it-
internal repairs to the motor, right?
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
All right.
Tom?
Yes.
Gee, 376, is that an aerial or pumper?
That's a pumper,
That's a pumper?
Yeah.
How old is that truck?
2011.
11. So it's got how many more years of service?
15 years, so 2026 front line, but that's NFPA standard.
Right,
Yeah,
76, it's a
and
backup
then it
anyway.
goes into a reserve status. It should go into a reserve status after that for an additional 5 years. So currently, we have the 2 2011s, 2018, the 2 22s. We have the rescue pump and the other pump that's coming that give us our 7 frontline piece of equipment under the 15-year NFPA standard.
Great.
For about a year.
Great, Chief, thank you.
And Chief, to buy a new truck like this one, how much would that run?
The last one, well, the price keeps changing. The last one the ones we're just purchasing now is about $850,000
Okay,
for a new pumper.
that puts it in perspective. We understand.
Right. So
All right.
25,000, 850, you know.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Anybody from the audience would like to make comment? No? Madam Clerk?
All council members in favor voting on the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0 on the amendment. Back to your original motion as amended. Council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 13,725, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Delta Fire and Safety Incorporated for the purchase of 135 firefighting gloves in accordance with electronic bid 24-2152 and an amount not to exceed $10,422 for the Kenner Fire Department. Have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot.
Al?
Acting Mayor.
Acting Mayor?
Just to let everybody know, last meeting, we voted on the jackets and pants, and to totally outfit one firefighter is a little over $5,000 per person. So we're trying to do the best. We're trying to keep our guys safe, and we're just getting it done.
Any other comment, questions? None? Madam Clerk?
All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 13,726, an ordinance ratifying an emergency repair of the 24th and Delaware Lift Station Pump Number 2 by Fluid Processing Pumps LLC, a sole source provider of Fairbanks Morse parts and equipment in the amount of $32,378 for the Department of Wastewater. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Seeing no discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance approving Amendment Number 1 to the agreement with the New Orleans Dent Repair Incorporated for automotive body damage repairs, increasing the not-to-exceed amount by $100,000 annually for a total not-to-exceed amount of $250,000 annually for the Department of Fleet Management and Police. Item 16B is an ordinance approving change order number 1 to the agreement with Johnson Controls Fire Division dated July 2nd, 2024 regarding the fire alarm beam detectors installation at the Pontchartrain Convention and Civic Center for a net increase of $3,445.24 for a total of $35,915.92 for the General Services Department. Item 16C is an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with Burke Klein Peter Incorporated regarding an entity/state agreement for LA 48 Kenner Levee Trailhead Expansion Project, state project number H.013370, federal aid project number H.013370, and an amount not to exceed $155,160 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16D is an ordinance approving change order number 1 final to the agreement with Cass Brothers Incorporated dated August 24, 2023 regarding Power Boulevard median improvements, state project number H.011779, federal aid project number H.011779, Kenner Public Works project number 2014-001B-CIP for an increase of $63,752.47 and to accept the completion of the project as constructed for the Department of Public Works. Item 16E is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Core and Main LP to provide sewer clamps, couplings, PVC, etc. on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 24-6857 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16F is an ordinance accepting as substantially complete the agreement with Bow Brothers Construction Company, LLC for East Loyola Drive at Joe Yenny Boulevard, emergency bridge repair, and authorizing payment in the amount of $37,053.30 for the Department of Public Works. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees.
I have a comment on this one. Just want to say, about 3 meetings back, we had some questions came up about the walk path and about golf carts riding on the walk path at Vintage and Power, and it's prohibited by law, but yet people are doing it, and I wanted to make sure that we have the right laws to protect that, to ensure that. So some research was done to make sure that we do have laws on the books, because it's fairly new walk path, and these things are just popping up all of a sudden. So I spoke with the city attorney, Ms. Dufresne. If you will, let us know what you found, please.
Yes, as I told you during our conversation.
If you still can't hear you.
Amy, give her your microphone.
It's working now.
No, it's not working, Mark.
Turn that off. How's that? Is that
Better,
okay?
yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So when we spoke, I had told you that I already looked it up. We adopted Title 32, and that's all the state statutes. So there are statutes in place regarding motorized bicycles, scooters for children, kids riding bicycles with helmets, and also within our statute for the golf carts, it's in there that they cannot ride on. They're supposed to ride on streets only. So there are statutes that protect us. As far as, I think I told you, motorized bicycles are treated as if they are bicycles. So you can ride one of those e-bikes on there. Children can ride their little scooters or their Barbie Jeeps. Those things are acceptable. Motorized for handicapped people, those can be on on there. But yes, golf carts should not be on paths. And on every entrance onto the path during the U-turn, there is a sign that says no motorized vehicles. So it should be stated. Now, whether people follow the law, and especially on the Wilson path on the canal, that's hard to, unless a cop is sitting right out there waiting for someone to come through, it's going to be very difficult to enforce. But
So you feel comfortable that it's easily enforced by the police chief if necessary, in order, if people are...
absolutely.
They get complaints, and so the correct action would be if citizens see this or feel threatened by it in any way, they can call our KPD, and they can actually send an officer out, and if need be, they can issue a citation.
if they can catch someone in the act, it's sort of how it works Power Boulevard, people speed. Unless there's an officer out there to catch them, it's hard to enforce. But as I'm sure as the police chief is hiring more people and putting more people in traffic, if it becomes a really big problem, he will address it for safety concerns.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you for that
You're welcome.
explanation. Thank you. Any comment, chief? Are you?
No, I concur. I've been in conversation with Ms. Dufresne and the administration and you as well. So, as with any crime, if officers observe it, they do take enforcement actions, and we will respond to, of course, any 911 calls or any complaints on that. I think as we get these carts certified where they're allowed in the streets, that might alleviate a lot of the problem with them traversing on these, bike paths and things of that nature. So I think it all worked well together.
Okay, just keep it in mind, if need be, we can draft legislation and we can tweak things if necessary. So, and I know Councilman Lahat also felt the same, and this needs to be enforced. So I don't know if you have any comments, Councilman?
The only complaints I've really heard are the what do you call the lowrider go-kart things that spin around with the loose wheels?
I think you call them the lowrider go-kart things that spin around.
A couple of kids are driving those, and I do get complaints, and those are dangerous, and that's really the only thing I've heard on a complaint basis. The rest of it, no one wants a four-wheel vehicle on the path, and they're going to be legalized for the streets with the permits, so I don't see any problem going forward. But yeah, we thank y'all. And I wanted to add another subject while I have the microphone. I want to thank
Sure.
Energy for the power staying on this whole week. That was the number one thing I was worried about with the amount of snow falling down, that we're going to have power outages, and we stayed on the whole time. So I was very thankful for that. They were very responsive to me when I reached out to Jimmy Aiken and them, whatever actions they took to insulate lines or protect against the freeze. It worked outside of a couple of areas that did go out, but I want to thank Energy. I know they're not here today, but for a job well done on that too.
Yeah, and to dovetail on that, the first day of the event, there was a transformer that blew in the 1900 block of Iowa, I believe it was. Entergy had that back up and running within 45 minutes to an hour, and that was when the weather conditions were pretty turbulent, so.
Councilwoman Dunn?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I just want one question from Michelle. I'm a little confused about the motorized bikes and the carts, because I was under the impression that the motorized bikes were basically the same as the they're not. I'm
They're not.
asking.
No, there is a statute under Title 32, and I ran out of the office. I had it sitting right there, and I walked out without it, that says that a motorized bike is to be treated as if it is a bicycle.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Any other questions? Any other reports from council members? No? Madam Clerk?
We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and/or motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Ricky Lee? Yes, sir. State your name, address, or district that you live in.
Alrighty. Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
My name is Ricky Lee. Hello, Mr. Brennan and fellow council members. I live at 245 Moss Bayou Lane in District 5. I recently voted for the fire millage that was on the ballot and was glad to see it passed. I support and think we should get behind our first responders, and it appears that the residents of Kenner want to do that with the recent millage approval. I saw a sign at Chick-fil-A, Walmart, Home Depot recently wanting to hire people at $15 an hour. I would hope the starting pay for firefighters and police officers would it at least be that much or higher. Now I am hearing the Kenner Fire Department wants to raise starting pay for firefighters to $13 an hour. I find that insulting and hard to believe. I also recently heard that the fire department employees are being forced to accept some kind of new pay plan that has not been agreed upon by all parties involved. I'd like to know, is this true, and are police officers being forced into the same type of situation, if it is true? I was wondering if you all are aware of these issues, and I was also curious what your positions are on the issue. I sent this email a while back, right around Christmas time of the first of the year, so you all may have not have gotten it. So I was also curious, what is your position on the issue, especially after the recent support of the public for the millage? Is it true that we're going to start firefighters at $13 an hour when Walmart, Home Depot, and fast food workers are starting at $15 an hour? In closing, I was wondering, has anyone looked into getting a salary survey for the Kenner Fire Department? Where did the $13 an hour come from? Did someone just pull it out of air, or is it a bare minimum standards? I do not believe that anyone can raise a family or have a household on $13 an hour. Over the last 5 to 10 years, firefighters have left for other departments from Kenner, such as Jefferson, St. George, New Orleans, St. Tammany. This is a continuing issue. I think we should pay our first responders a living wage where they will not have to leave the Kenner Fire Department and go to other departments to raise their family and do what's best to survive, because the salary is so low and not competitive. If you pay first responders a living wage, they will not have to leave. I will be shocked if a salary survey is done and it comes anywhere near $13 an hour. I would think a police officer or a firefighter should start at around 15 to 20 bucks an hour. And the residents of Kenner are paying for these firefighters as they leave, because when one leaves, it goes to St. Bernard, it goes to New Orleans, it goes to Jefferson, wherever they're going, they leave. Jefferson, St. Bernard, St. Tammany gets a firefighter. They don't pay for the training. The residents of Kenner keep paying for the training on these guys, and it's a revolving door. And I know for years, Kenner at one time had tried to institute a policy, we're gonna make them stay, we're gonna make them sign a letter for 3 years. Well, if you're forcing people to stay and making them do things, you're going about things the wrong way, in my opinion. You should have a salary structure in place where they don't want to leave, and that would keep these people.
Mr. Lee, if you wrap it up.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming in. Councilman Brannigan.
Mr. Lee? I'm Councilman Brannigan, District 4. Over the last couple of years, I did a spreadsheet, and I don't think anybody's surprised about me doing a spreadsheet. And basically, when the rate was $8.92 an hour, when you look at the overtime pay in the pay cycles, and you look at the state pay, that's an additional $500 a month. The actual, when you average all of that stuff out, it wasn't $8.92 an hour, it was like $13 an hour. And if you went to, I don't know what the dollar amount went to, I think it's $13 an hour?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So that, when you average the overtime and the state supplemental pay, with that, it puts it at around $18 an hour, give or take a couple of nickels. So for a starting fireman now, and Terrence, correct me if I'm wrong, it should be in the $18 range. And the other thing is the state supplemental pay that a fireman receives, you don't get that the first year, but the city of Kenner has been paying that. So you said between 15 and 20, I think we're very close to your high number. Okay?
Right.
Terrence, is that?
I think the firefighters, you want to get back to the mic, because it's not open to discussion.
Wait, I couldn't hear you. Would you?
With the recent millage that passed, I think the firefighters were led to believe, help us get a class, let's get a class 1 rate. And the firefighters did that. Then the firefighters were told, after we get a class 1 rate, we'd like y'all to help pass a millage. And then when we get the millage passed, we'll see how we can y'all a raise.
No,
It seems like things have occurred and the firefighters haven't gotten a raise, so
Terrence, they have gotten the raise, correct?
Yeah, the raise started January 1st of this year, but at the 892, even at the $13 an hour, it's only one, I think it's one department that's starting rate is higher than Kenner's. With firefighter structure, salary, the way it's structured, $13 an hour for our firefighters equate to around $18 and something an hour. So it's not just the $13 an hour. You have to look at the total compensation package, and we've done a study throughout the region.
Who's done the study?
The regional fire chiefs, we compiled all our information.
If you can, Mr. Lee, if y'all can get together after the meeting, instead of going back and forth. I do appreciate you coming in, though, and expressing your concerns. That's very important. And if you will, Chief, can you talk to Mr. Lee after the meeting? The only reason why I say that is because going back and forth, and the 3 minutes have expired for Mr. Lee. So if you do want to come back at the next meeting, please feel free to do so then as well. Okay, thank you. Next, we have Mr. Ryan Nugent, if you will. State your name, address, or district.
Thank you, Councilman Wilmot. My name is Ryan Nugent, and I live at 5444 Erlanger Road in District 3. At the last council meeting, I shared the very frustrating tale of my multi-year quest to help improve the City of Kenner's approach to street lighting and to municipal lighting in general. In particular, I detailed my extensive efforts to get the city's lighting supply bid list corrected and updated prior to resolicitation. I concluded by promising to explain how the current iteration of the list precludes the possibility of a competitive bid process, and that's part of what I plan to do here today. Before I do, though, here's a reminder of some of the major issues with the bid that I shared previously. Number one, a markup of over 270% on the light fixtures used in Chateau Estates. GE's rep informed me that they should cost a max of $1,700 per fixture, factoring in a nice distributor's markup. The price the city agreed to pay per fixture is $4,595. Two, dozens of item specifications codes that are nearly impossible to interpret. In one case, the same item actually appears in the list 3 different times because the first 2 inclusions are so indecipherable. 3, numerous out-of-production items, including nearly every high-pressure sodium fixture in the city. 4, dozens of transposition errors from years of copying and pasting documents, a document that was originally crafted decades ago and hasn't seen a comprehensive review since then. When you consider all of these issues collectively, the end result is that no one but the same vendor the city has worked with for many years, a vendor who was the only bidder during the last solicitation, could possibly bid on this list without investing additional time and resources to request a substantial quantity of additional information from the city. This isn't how the bid process is supposed to work. It obviously reduces the likelihood of a competitive solicitation, and it's definitely not in the best interest of the taxpayers. Now, I'm not going to claim to be an expert in all material specifications. My areas of expertise are largely limited to architecture, planning, lighting, and horticulture. But I have to wonder, if this one supply list is this much of a disaster, what does that mean for the other non-lighting related supply lists the city uses for soliciting bids? Are they just as bad? The prospect is very concerning. The last thing I'll say today is that I've known all this for a while, but I've kept it fairly close to the chest because I'm conflict averse and I'm not here to embarrass anyone. However, that approach has borne very little fruit. The mayor always likes to say, do your research. Well, guess what? In this case, I've done my research and I've done the city's research too. I've delivered it in a silver platter free of charge, but I can't even get anyone to look at my work most of the time. And it's not like I'm asking anyone to accept my professional assessments as dogma beyond question. I've extended the offer of free consultations with some of the best lighting experts in the region, but none of those offers have been pursued by the city. Considering everything I explained at the last meeting regarding what I've been put through, most people would have said to hell with this a long time ago. But I'm a glutton for punishment, and I care too much. In turn, I've dealt with worsening depression and even tears as I've continued to beat my head against the wall. Please don't feel bad for me, though. The people we should all feel bad for are your constituents. It is they who continue to pay the price for the city's indifference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent. Any comments? No. Anybody else wish to say anything at this meeting before we adjourn? No? Meeting adjourned.